In the 2026 World Cup, there is officially no limit to how much time a referee can add at the end of a half. None. Referees have been told to count every single second the ball isn't in play, and it's already led to double-digit stoppage time in game after game. Here's the twist. Your bank account works exactly the same way. Life doesn't stop the clock for you either, and most Americans are playing without any injury time built in at all. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how big your financial stoppage time needs to be, and it's probably not the number you think. If you've watched any of this World Cup, you've seen it. The 90 minutes hit, and the board goes up showing 11, 12, sometimes 14 extra minutes. Fans in the US are still getting used to this. It looks broken. It's not. It's the whole game working exactly as designed. Your money needs the same design. Most people build a budget for the 90 minutes. Rent, groceries, gas, the regular stuff. Then life throws a red card, a layoff, a car that dies, an ER visit. And there's no time added. The game just ends. Budget wrecked. Here's what I'm covering. Why stoppage time even exists and what it actually protects, the exact rule change in 2026 that makes this the perfect metaphor. 3 real numbers on how unprepared Americans currently are, how to calculate your own injury time, your real emergency fund number, and the one habit that keeps you from raiding that fund for non-emergencies. Let's get into it. Soccer runs on a clock that never stops. No timeouts, no commercial breaks. That sounds simple, but it creates a problem the sport has dealt with since 1891. That year, in a match between Aston Villa and Stoke, Villa was up 3-0 and holding on. Stoke clawed back to 3-2. With seconds left, a Villa player deliberately handled the ball to kill a scoring chance, and the referee had no mechanism to punish it because the clock had already hit 90. The goal never happened. The game just ended, unfair and unfinished. That's why stoppage time was invented, not as an extra gift, but as a correction. It exists to make sure the time that was stolen from the match gets given back. Your emergency fund is the same correction. It's not a bonus. It's the minutes life stole from your budget being paid back to you. Starting with the 2022 World Cup, FIFA told referees to stop underestimating stoppage time and start counting precisely. In 2026, that got even stricter. Referees track every VAR check, every injury, every goal celebration, down to the second, with zero cap on the total. The result? It's now completely normal to see 10 to 15 minutes added in a single half if the match gets chaotic. One France match this tournament even got suspended for over 2 hours at halftime because of a lightning storm, an interruption so far outside the normal rhythm of the game that no one saw it coming. This is the mindset shift. You don't get to decide in advance how much extra time your life will need. You only find out by tracking what actually happens. Job market wobbles, medical bills, the car that picks the worst possible month to die. The referee doesn't guess, he counts. Your emergency fund shouldn't be a guess either. 2026 also introduced something new. A mandatory 3-minute cooling break in each half, scheduled at the 22-minute and 67-minute marks, rain or shine, hot or cold. Notice what makes it work. It's scheduled. It doesn't wait for players to feel thirsty. It happens on a timer, every match, no exceptions. That's exactly how a real emergency fund gets built. Not by saving whenever there's some left over. That's the version that never happens. It gets built by an automatic transfer on payday, same as the cooling break. Scheduled, boring, non-negotiable. So how big should your stoppage time actually be? Financial experts generally recommend 3 to 6 months of essential expenses sitting in reserve. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Bankrate's 2026 Emergency Savings Report found that only 46% of Americans have enough saved to cover even 3 months of expenses, and just 27% can cover 6. Nearly 1 in 4 have zero emergency savings at all. On top of that, the U.S. personal savings rate sat at just 3.6% in early 2026, well below the long-term average of 8.4%. In World Cup terms, most people are playing a match where the ref adds 0 seconds no matter what happens. 1 injury, 1 bad bounce, and the game's over. If you don't know your 3 to 6 month number in dollars, that's your homework after this video, not someday, this week. Forget 6 months for a second. Bankrate has a simpler test. Can you cover a sudden $1,000 expense without going into debt? Only 30% of Americans said yes. 59% said they couldn't cover it without borrowing a credit card, a loan, or money from family. That's the lowest that number has been since 2021. A $1,000 buffer is your minimum injury time, the few added minutes that keep one bad play from ending your game early. If you have nothing right now, this is the first goal, not 6 months of expenses. Start there. One more 2026 rule change. If a player goes down and needs treatment, they now have to leave the pitch and can't return for at least a minute, even if they're fined seconds later. It was added specifically to stop players from faking injuries just to run out the clock. Your emergency fund needs the exact same rule. The temptation isn't usually a real emergency, it's the emergency that's actually a concert ticket, or a sale you don't want to miss. Set your own version of that 1-minute rule, a real waiting period, or a real definition of what counts, before that money is allowed back into your regular spending. A fund you dip into for anything isn't a cushion. It's just a second checking account with a nicer name. StoppageTime isn't the World Cup being unfair to you. It's the game keeping its promise. You get the minutes you're actually owed. Your emergency fund works the same way. It's not extra, it's not optional. It's the difference between one bad month ending your financial game early and you playing on like nothing happened. Start with the $1,000 line. Build toward 3 to 6 months. Automate it like a scheduled cooling break. And don't let yourself back onto the field until it's a real emergency. Comment your number. How many months of expenses do you actually have saved right now? No judgment, just be honest. If this made the money side of the World Cup click for you, subscribe. This channel breaks down the numbers hiding inside the sport you already love.